red enchiladas. You've probably heard about these. They're very easy to make. They're very popular outside of Mexico, also inside. They're one of those that you find them everywhere on the everyday life. They're very easy, very tasty, and there's a reason why people love them. So if you want to learn how to make them, stick around. I'm going to show you how. I will start with a pot with some water. It's on high fire. It's on an 8 out of 9 on the stove. I will add half an onion, some salt, and a handful of coriander. Once the water is boiling, we can start adding our chicken. In this case, I am using boneless chicken thighs because it's the kind of chicken I find the easiest. But traditionally, you would use chicken breast or even the whole chicken. You will boil it, make a chicken soup, and then just shred all the meat off the bones, and we will use that eventually. For this video, I am using 600 grams of chicken, but of course it depends on how many enchiladas you want to make. I always make a bit more, because it's always useful to have shredded chicken you can use for many other dishes. After adding the chicken, I turn my fire down to a 4 or 5 out of 9. I want just a slight simmer. I don't want the full-on boiling. After about 40 minutes, the chicken should be ready. It should be tender, juicy, and cooked all the way through. Once the chicken is ready, I'm going to take it to a chopping board, and I'm using 2 forks to shred it. I have seen many people use different tricks, using a glass, using a hand mixer, and all kinds of tricks to shred the chicken. Personally, I prefer this method because it allows you to control exactly how shredded you want to make it. Once we are done, we can set the chicken aside because we're going to use it later. For the sauce, I'm going to use 4 guajillos and 4 ancho chilies. Of course, you can play with these, you can use different kind of chilies if you prefer. What we need to do first is to clean our chilies. We have to cut them open, remove as many seeds as we can, and then we can set them aside. It has been quite nice to see that these dry chilies are a bit more common outside of Mexico nowadays. Even in Europe, they're easy to find. Many people believe Mexican food is really spicy just because we use a lot of chilies, but the reality is we use a lot of these chilies for the flavor, for the color, for the texture. Once we're done cleaning the guajillos, we can go with the ancho. Ancho is a dried poblano pepper. Texture is a bit different. You can see guajillo is a bit more rubbery. Ancho is usually a bit more dry, more crunchy. It of course depends on how they have been stored, but the process is the same. We're going to cut them open. You can use a knife, but I think scissors are way easier to use. Once we're done cleaning our chilies, we can move on and toast them. This is one step I've seen people skip, but personally I like it because it will bring a lot of flavor. I have this pan on the stove. It's on a 7 out of 9, so medium-high fire. What I want to do is to toast my chilies just for a few seconds, because otherwise if you overdo it, they might get a bit bitter. I am also pressing them down because they're quite irregular and I want as much of the surface to touch the pan. They don't have to be completely toasted, just a matter of enhancing the flavor. Once you're done, we can set them aside and we will repeat the process until we are ready with all the chilies. We are going to do this with both ancho and guajillo. On this pot, I have some boiling water. It's on a 5 or 6 out of 9, so medium fire. I'm going to throw all my chilies in there and I'm going to let them be there for about 10 to 15 minutes. The reason why we do this is because we want to blend this into a sauce, and for the sauce to be smooth, we need to soften the chilies. After about 10 to 15 minutes, we're going to check on our chilies, and if we can see that they have softened, then we are ready to move on. For the sauce, I'm taking the chilies to the blender. I will also add 2 garlic cloves, some liquid. Personally, instead of water, I'm using the water I got from boiling the chicken, so it's kind of a chicken stock, a dash of oregano, some salt, black pepper, and now we're ready to close the lid and start blending. How much liquid to add might depend on the kind of blender you have. Personally, in this Ninja, it was very easy to blend everything together. It took 1 or 2 minutes. If you have a not so powerful blender, you might need to add maybe a whole cup or even 2 cups sometimes. Anyway, don't worry about it, just add as much water or liquid as you need, and eventually if it's a bit too liquid, we can always reduce the sauce. After blending our sauce, we have to strain it. The reason why we strain it is because guajillo can be a bit stubborn and you might still find some pieces of it which can become very annoying. I have seen some people who prefer to blend guajillo, strain it, and then blend everything else and not strain it because this brings a bit more texture. But personally, I like having a smooth sauce and blend everything together, strain everything together. This sauce turned out to be quite thick, and a bit stubborn, but don't worry about it. Keep moving a spoon around and eventually you will get it through. It will be very smooth and this will give a beautiful texture. As you can see, this sauce is a bit thick. Personally, I think this is a bit too thick, so in this case I would add some water. In this case, as I did before, instead of water, I'm using the water I used for boiling the chicken. This is not quite of a stock, but it has some flavor. It has a bit of the fat of the chicken and it has the flavorings we added, so it's way better to use that. This is how my sauce looks at the end. I like it to be thick, but still quite smooth. In the meanwhile, I'm going to chop some lettuce. Lettuce will bring some color to the dish. The contrast is quite beautiful. It will also bring some freshness and some crunchiness to it. For these enchiladas, I'm going to use corn because corn tortillas are more widely used in the region where I grew up, and those are the ones I'm used to for enchiladas. If you can find fresh tortillas, of course go for those. In my case, these are the best I can find here in Finland, so I'll take it. These are a bit stuck because they're the kind of tortillas that can be on the shelf for long. Usually when opening a new package, I try to go through them and separate them. The process now is quite simple. I'm going to grab a tortilla, I'm going to dip it in my sauce, and then I'm going to go to a pan with some oil. I'm going to put it there. Oil is already hot. I have this pan on a 6 or 7 out of 9, so medium high fire depending on your stove. You might need to keep adjusting the heat from time to time. You want the oil to stay hot, but you don't want it to burn. We are going to give it a few seconds, and the first tortilla you make might not be the best because you're still kind of learning what's the heat, what's the time you need. We're going to throw it in there, leave it a few seconds, then we're going to flip. Frying your tortilla will make it more resistant, but it will also make it crispy, and that's something we don't want. So you have to find the balance between those two. We still want to be able to roll our tortillas. Once we're done, we are going to take it to a plate, and this is not going to be the last plate because we don't want to make a mess. We want to roll them nicely here and then move them somewhere else. At least that's personally what I do. Now we take the shredded chicken we made, we're going to take a handful, throw it in there, and we can roll our enchilada. If you don't want to use chicken, you can always use maybe some cheese. We usually use queso fresco, but you can also use maybe ricotta. That's a really nice cheese that goes nicely here. I have also seen people use vegetables, for example, mushrooms or even potatoes as filling. You can use whatever you prefer. All you have to do at this point is repeat the process. You can make 2, 3 or 4 per plate and we can serve. All we have to do now is finish plating our enchiladas. For that I am using some sour cream or creme fraiche, whatever you can find. I'm going to add some onion, just chopped into very small pieces. I'm going to use some shredded lettuce. As I said before, this will bring some crunchiness and some freshness to the dish. I'm going to use some cheese. Usually I would use some queso fresco. Here in Finland I usually substitute for salad cheese or this feta kind of cheese. It works quite nicely. Finally, I'm going to use a couple radish slices just for decoration. And at this point we can serve. I don't know what you think, but I think this is a beautiful dish. This is how I make enchiladas. Of course, it's just one recipe. There's many variations. Some people might make the sauce a bit more liquid, add tomato, just cover the whole thing with that. It changes from region to region, but these are something that I find very easy, very tasty. Most people will love these, especially with the corn tortilla, you know, it gets a different taste, different texture than if you use wheat. So I hope you like it. Press like, subscribe, activate the bell, all those kind of things, and see you in the next one.